Hello and welcome to Chesapeake Weekly Home Edition. Well, the Chesapeake Health Department is now vaccinating anyone in Chesapeake who wishes to receive a vaccine. They announced last week that they were moving into phase 2 ahead of the state as of Friday, April 2nd. So what does that mean for you? Well, they're going to continue to prioritize those who qualify for phase 1A, 1B, or 1C, but if they have clinics with vaccine appointments available, that will be open to anybody in Chesapeake who wants to get it. So what you should do now is make sure that you're registered at vaccinate.virginia.gov, and you can continue to find updates on the local vaccination process at vdh.virginia.gov/Chesapeake. A quick note about the City Council and Planning Commission meetings for the month of April. They will continue with the current mode of handling meetings, which means no public audience in the chambers. Now you can still participate in both by either email or phone. For City Council meetings, you can share your comments ahead of time by emailing council@cityofchesapeake.net or calling 382-6151 prior to 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. Just provide your name, the agenda item you wish to address, and your comments. The city clerk will read your comments into the record during the meeting, or you can participate in the meeting live by phone by calling 757-520-1250 between 5:45 and 6:30 p.m. the night of the meeting. At the appropriate time, the caller will address council during that meeting. Now, one thing that is opening back up is our libraries. Library branches are now back open to the public. Now, because of group gathering limitations, they're not going to be opening up study rooms or meeting rooms quite yet, but you can go in, check out books, and do a lot more that we're used to doing at our libraries. Now, they will continue curbside service, which I love. I'm a big fan of that one. So they're going to continue doing that, but you can go into their buildings now. Learn more about what's available at your library at chesapeakelibrary.org. Chesapeake is offering a new way to get help when you need it most. Text to 911 is now available. Here's more.
It's a new service that we've implemented because it was mandated by state law. All PSAPs are required to institute a text to 911 service. It's really simple to use. All you have to do is text 911 in the call location or the call number field and enter your address and emergency in the text field. The biggest learning curve is that with text, it's a much slower operation. We type slower than we text, so it's a little bit more difficult to get information quicker through text. We always recommend, if possible, to dial 911 rather than text if you can. Text 911 will work well with our community with disabilities and impairments. For our deaf community, they won't have to rely on TTY or a relay service to be able to contact emergency services. They'll be able to contact us directly through 911. Another major concern would be those domestic abuse situations where the victim does not feel safe enough to call us on the phone. So they may feel more comfortable being able to contact us through text while their abuser is still there with them and getting the help they need.
And just a reminder about when it's appropriate to call 911. So you should only ever use 911 when a person or property is in immediate danger. So this includes any kind of serious medical condition, an accident perhaps, and especially if you're witnessing a crime as it's happening. You know, that would count, of course, a house fire. These are all things that either a person or property is in immediate danger. If it's something like you happen upon a crime that already took place, maybe like graffiti, or maybe something like a traffic signal is out at an intersection, those things are not appropriate to call 911 for. We want to keep the 911 lines open. And instead, you can just report those to the non-emergency police line, which is 382-6161. Learn more about the 911 services here in our city at cityofchesapeake.net/police. Well, Chesapeake is full of history at every turn, and the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department is truly taking advantage of that and working on improving how they can showcase the history that we celebrate here in our city. Director of the Parks, Rec, and Tourism Department, Mike Barber, shares more with us on how Chesapeake plans to leverage its past.
We're standing here on the Dismal Swamp Canal Trail along the historic Great Dismal Swamp. Exciting times to be in Chesapeake with so many playful things to do and places to see. Although our city is officially less than 60 years old, our history goes back centuries, and Chesapeake is finding ways to bring many of our stories of our past to real life. The Dismal Swamp Canal Trail was recently repaved and remarked, and the trail includes 8.2 miles of serene, tree-lined corridor which provides a habitat for migratory birds and wildlife. By the mid-1800s, the canal was busy and an important place for commerce and transporting goods by boat. The historic Wallace House and what is now called the Superintendent's House both sit along the canal and the trail off of Glencoe Street. It is here where Chesapeake is in the process of relocating the Cornland School to form a historic village to help celebrate and interpret our past.
Stay up to date on all things park recreation and tourism at cityofchesapeake.net/PRT. Well, the Easter Bunny's gig is over for the year, but there are little bunnies, real bunnies all around your yard this time of year. It is bunny nest season, and it also coincides with mowing season. So we wanted to give you a few tips on how you can keep any potential little baby bunny nests safe while you're mowing your yard. If you find a rabbit's nest in your yard, do not mow within 10 feet of the nest. Protect the nest during mowing by placing a plastic laundry basket upside down over the nest, and then just remove it when you're done mowing. Keep your pets away from the nest, and really just leave the nest alone. For more information on how you can help baby rabbits during this spring season, follow the chart from the Wildlife Center of Virginia website, wildlifecenter.org/babyrabbit. And mowing is happening on the city level as well. The mowing season has officially begun. We went to Public Works Public Information Coordinator Jason Brown to learn a little bit more about mowing in the city.
Our City of Chesapeake mowing cycle begins this year on March 22nd. We've got 2 contractors in queue for this year. DBI Services and AMT Specialty are this year's contractors. The mowing program here in Chesapeake costs this year about $2 million to do the right-of-way mowing. The responsibility for the city when it comes to mowing the public rights-of-way includes city shoulders and medians. There are 720 shoulder miles along roadways and 320 acres of medians and open areas that the city routinely mows throughout the mowing season. The city has partnered with the Sheriff's Department inmate program to supplement some of the mowing contract, but a majority of this work is going to be completed by our 2 contractors. It's important to note that the interstate roads and off-ramps are maintained by the Virginia Department of Transportation, for example, along I-464, and not the City of Chesapeake. Mowing of the city park grounds and public buildings, such as at City Hall and other municipal buildings, is accomplished by the Building and Grounds divisions of our Parks, Recreation, and Tourism division.
Now, as for the mowing schedule, crews will mow right-of-way areas every 10 to 14 days and shoulders every 21 to 28 days. So just keep that in mind as you notice grass growing throughout the city, that they are on a either 10 to 14 day schedule or a 21 to 28 day schedule, depending on where you're talking about. Now, if you see an area that needs a little extra love and attention, you can call that into the Customer Contact Center at 382-CITY. Chesapeake Television has a fantastic gardening series available for you on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Chesapeake Television. We have featured Chesapeake Master Gardeners, folks from the Agriculture Department, people who are just experts in all things green. And they're giving tips and tricks on how you can do your yard right this season. Now, a recent video that was shared was really interesting to me because it was nothing I had ever thought that I might have to do. And it's about the importance of sterilizing your tools. So those trimmers, those cutters, apparently sometimes you have to sterilize them. I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to share some of that with you now.
Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk with Virginia Cooperative Extension, and today I'm going to talk to you about sterilizing or keeping your tools clean while you're pruning. So it's really important to do this, especially if you suspect any kind of vascular disease like oak wilt or verticillium or something like that in your plants. So if you're trying to cut out a diseased branch, you're going to want to sterilize or clean your tools between each cut so that you're not spreading that disease further into your plant or into another plant that you prune later. There are a lot of products out there that will sterilize your tools. Just know that some of them can actually be damaging your tools too. So 10% bleach solution will sterilize your tools, but bleach is very caustic. And so you gotta be careful with your skin. But it also is going to pit your metal or the metal on your pruning shears or loppers or saw blade, okay? And by pitting, it's just basically eating out, like an acid, little spots. And in those little spots down the road is where some bacteria or fungi could possibly be hiding out and be resistant to your quick wipe or wash or spray of that chlorine bleach. So it will work, but maybe not the best thing. Rubbing alcohol can work, and it's a little bit better, a little bit safer to use, and for the most part doesn't pit as much, but it can be a little more pricey. There are other things that you can use, like Lysol is actually what Linda Chalker-Scott recommends because it's safer to use on the tools, safe to use on your skin with appropriate gloves and whatnot too. And again, you'll want to do this every time you make a cut.
So again, you can find that full playlist of all tips gardening at youtube.com/Chesapeake Television. And while you're there, I hope you'll take a few moments to check out all of the other great local programming that Chesapeake Television has to offer. Well, that does it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a healthy week. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and we'll see you again right back here next week.